Elon Musk walked out of his office. Without telling anyone, the constant noise of emails, meetings, and deadlines had worn him down, and he needed a moment to clear his mind. No security, no assistance, just him stepping into the evening air. To escape the weight of his responsibilities, he wandered aimlessly through the crowded streets, letting the hum of the city wash over him for once. He wasn't the center of attention. Just another face in the prow. As he turned a corner, something unusual caught his attention. Sitting on the sidewalk was a young black girl around 13 or 14 years old. Her clothes were old and faded with small holes in the fabric. Her shoes were worn out, barely holding together, and her hair was tied back messily as though she'd done it in a hurry. In front of her was a small cardboard box filled with flowers, roses, daisies, and sunflowers, each tied into little bundles. With frayed ribbons next to the box was a handwritten sign, "Help me go to school, flowers, $3 each." Enjoying the story? Don't forget to subscribe for more unique Elon Musk content. Now back to the story. Elon stopped and stared for a moment the girls at quietly, her tired eyes scanning the passing crowd, hoping someone would notice her. Most people rushed by without a glance, but there was something about their calm determination that made him walk closer. He crouched down beside her. He said gently, "What's your name?" The girl looked up, surprised. "Maya," she said, softly. Elon nodded and pointed at the flowers. "Why are you selling these? Shouldn't you be in school?" Maya hesitated, lowering her gaze. "I had to stop going to school. She admitted my mom can't afford it right. Now she works all day, but it's not enough. I'm trying to save money to go back." Her voice was steady, but Elon could hear the pain behind her words. He looked at her again, at her old clothes, her raw hands, and the hopeful spark in her eyes. "Despite everything, what do you want to do when you go back to school?" Asked curious, Maya's face lit up slightly. "I want to become a scientist. I want to invent things that make life better for people like my mom and me." For a moment, Elon didn't say anything. He felt a strange connection to this girl who reminded him of his own journey, the determination to dream big, even when the odds were stacked against him. He smiled and said, "Let's see what we can do about that dream." Maya looked at Elon, unsure if he was serious. People rarely stopped to talk to her, and no one ever asked about her dreams. Are you going to buy some flowers?" she asked, cautiously pointing to the small bundles in the box. Elon smiled. "Maybe, but first tell me more about yourself." Maya hesitated, glancing at the crowd as if afraid someone might interrupt. "I sell flowers here every evening," she began softly. "My mom works as a cleaner during the day, but it's not enough to pay the bills. We barely have enough for food and rent." She paused, her voice trembling slightly. "I had to stop going to school because we couldn't afford it. So I started selling flowers to save up. I want to go back one day." Elon nodded, his expression thoughtful. "And you want to be a scientist?" "Yes," Maya said, her eyes lighting up. "I love science in school. It was my favorite subject. I used to dream about building things that could help people, machines, tools, anything that could make life easier for families like mine." Her passion was clear, and Elon could see the determination in her eyes, but he also saw something else. Exhaustion. Maya had been working hard, carrying responsibilities far beyond her years. "Where do you get these flowers?" Elon asked. Looking at the colorful bundles, "I picked some from a nearby park early in the morning," she said. "Others I get from a small flower shop downtown. They let me buy the leftover ones for cheap." Elon was impressed by her resourcefulness. "Do people stop to buy them sometimes?" Maya said, shrugging. "Most people just walk past. Some say the flowers are pretty, but they don't really need them. Others don't even look at me." Elon looked down at the sign next to her box. "Help me go to school." It read. It was simple, handwritten, and a little messy, but it told her story. "How much have you saved so far?" he asked. Maya bit her lip. "Not much," she admitted. "Maybe $100. School fees are so expensive, but I'll keep trying. I have to." Elon leaned back, slightly studying her. This wasn't just about selling flowers. This was about hope, survival, and a dream that refused to die no matter how hard life got. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. "I'll take all your flowers," he said. Maya's eyes widened. "All of them, but why? What will you do with so many flowers?" Elon smiled again. "I'll find Oz for them," he said. "But more importantly, I want to help you with your dream. I think we can make it happen for a moment." Maya was speechless. She looked at him, unsure if this was real. "Are you serious?" "Serious?" she whispered completely. "Serious," Elon said. "But only if you promise me one thing." What never stopped, dreaming Maya nodded her eyes, filling with tears. She handed him the flowers bundle by bundle. And for the first time, in a long time, she felt something she hadn't felt before. Hope the next day after there, where anyone would want to stay long-term. They told her to gather her things. At first she didn't know what to bring. There wasn't much to pack: clothes, a few school books, a small stuffed animal she'd had since she was little. She didn't own much, but what she had meant the world to her. As she packed, one of the people from Elon's team told her, "Don't worry about the apartment, we've already made arrangements for you. And your mom, you won't have to worry about rent, utilities, or anything like that. This is a fresh start." Maya's hands shook. A fresh start. Could this really be happening? She didn't have time to think about it. They helped her load everything into the car, and soon they were driving. Again, this time they didn't head toward the city. Instead, they drove to a quiet neighborhood with wide streets lined with trees and large homes. Maya's eye widened as they pulled into a driveway in front of a beautiful house. It was everything she had ever dreamed of, a place with a big yard, clean windows, and a front porch. It looked nothing like the cramped apartment she had shared with her mom for so long. "This is your new home," the person from Elon's team said, getting out of the car and opening the door for Maya. Maya stepped out, her mouth hanging open in disbelief. This ice sours," she whispered. "Yes," they said, with a smile. "Elon arranged this for you. Your mom is already inside and she's going to be taken care of too." Maya's heart raced as she stepped inside the house. It was spacious with bright rooms, big windows, and fresh flowers in every corner. It felt like a home, her home the next day. Elon's team took Maya to her new school. It was a private institution, and the facilities were top-notch. She was enrolled immediately, all fees paid, books provided. It was the opportunity she had dreamed of, but never thought she would have. But this wasn't just about going back to school. It was about a chance to build a future that she had been working toward for years but could never quite reach on her own. Now everything was different. A few weeks later, Maya and her mom were settling into their new life. They had everything. They needed financial support, housing, and most importantly, peace of mind. Maya could focus on her studies, her future, without worrying about where her next meal would come from or whether she could afford school fees. One evening, Elon himself visited the house. Maya was nervous, unsure of what to say, but Elon walked in with a smile and a calm, reassuring presence. He sat down with Maya and her mom in the living room. "How are you set in?" Elon asked, looking at them both. Maya's mom smiled, tears welling up in her eyes. It's better than I could have ever imagined. We never thought something like this could happen. We didn't even know where to begin." Elon nodded. "Sometimes, all it takes is someone to believe in you. Maya has a bright future ahead of her. I know it." Maya felt a warm feeling inside her as she looked at Elon. She wasn't sure exactly why he was helping her, but she knew that this wasn't just a random act of kindness. Elon Musk had given her something far greater than money or a new home. He had given her a chance to follow her dreams. "I promise," she said, quietly looking up at him. "I won't waste this opportunity. I'll work hard. I'll become the scientist I've always wanted to be." Elon smiled. "I know you will. Maya, just keep going and never forget that. Dreams are possible no matter how impossible they may seem." From that day on, Maya's life changed in ways she couldn't have imagined. She excelled in her studies, pushed herself harder than ever, and eventually earned scholarships to top universities. She became a scientist, just as she had always dreamed, and one day she looked back at the moment when a simple act of kindness changed everything for her. It wasn't just a new house or a chance at education. It was the belief that she could make a difference. It was the belief that no matter where she came from, she could reach the stars. And it all started with one man, one moment, and one belief that a dream could be turned into reality.